So here's the video going over part 2 of 11.4 installment buying. This portion is on unearned interest. Now before we start, please make sure that you have this piece of paper in front of you to work with. It is posted online for you guys, so make sure that you have this because we're going to keep referencing the APR chart. Now the examples that you're going to see in this video are the same examples from 11.4 part 1, except I have added a couple more questions afterwards talking about unearned interest and payoff amount. So I'm going to go ahead and start working through this problem. Kristen wishes to purchase new blinds for her house at a cost of $1,500. So that is the cash price. That's how much she would have to pay for her blinds. She paid a 15% down payment and financed the balance with a 24-month fixed installment loan with an APR of 6%. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate that down payment. That is going to be 15%, so 0.15 of the cash price, which is $1,500. I accidentally wrote 15,000. Let's get rid of a zero. There we go. So now I'm going to plug that in, so 0.15 times 1,500, and that gives us $225 for the down payment. Now the amount financed is going to be the cash price minus the down payment. So cash price minus the down payment, so 1,500 minus 225 is 1,275. Okay, the installment price is going to be the amount financed plus the down payment as well as the finance charges. So let's go ahead and calculate the finance charges because I haven't figured that out yet. I'm going to start by taking that $1,275 and I'm going to divide it by 100. So that gives me 12.75. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to use this chart over here to figure out what the finance charge per $100 of amount financed is. So going back to the problem, it's a 24-month loan with an APR of 6%. So I'm going to go to my table. I am looking for 24 months. That is this row over here at 6%, and that is $6.37. So I'm going to take that $1,275 because that's how many increments of 100 we had, and I'm going to multiply it by that dollar amount from the table, which was the $6.37. And that's going to give me the total of the finance charges. Putting it into my calculator right now. That is $81.22. Okay, now the APR was already given to us in the problem. That was 6%. And I also need to find my installment price. So my installment price is going to be the amount financed. So that's the $1,275 plus the finance charges, so $81.22, plus whatever down payment you had, so $225, and that's going to give us the installment price. So $1,275 plus $81.22 plus $225 is $1,581.22. And last but not least, we need to figure out the monthly payment. For the monthly payment, I'm going to take the installment price, so $1,281.22, minus the down payment, which was $225, and I'm going to divide by the number of months in this loan, which is 24. So that is going to give me my monthly payment. So minus $225 divided by 24 is $56.51. Okay. So now I have figured out all of these other pieces. So what I'm going to do next is continue the problem with another type of scenario. So going to here, it says instead of making her 12th payment, she decides to repay her loan in full. How much unearned interest will she save? So when she ends up paying off her loan early, she's going to be saving interest because she's not going to have to pay the extra interest that she would accrue had she continued to make those monthly payments. So in order to calculate the unearned interest, there is a formula that I'm going to use, which I'm going to go ahead and write in green. So unearned interest, that is U equals N times M times V divided by 100 plus V. Now, what the heck do all these letters mean? So N, I'm going to go ahead and write that down over here. So N is the number of remaining monthly payments. M is your monthly payment, so how much it is. And V is going to be a value from the APR chart, so the one that's on that very first slide, so the APR table with the remaining payments. Remaining payments. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually find these things within this context. So N is going to be the number of remaining monthly payments. So her original plan was a 24-month loan. So that means on her 12th payment, she's just going to pay off the rest of it. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 24 minus the 12, and that's going to tell me how many remaining monthly payments she has. So that's going to be 12. Now, what I need to do is I need to figure out what V is. So V is going to come from that APR table. So the number of remaining monthly payments is now 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that APR table and I'm going to find the corresponding value for 12 months at the APR of the problem. So the APR of this problem was 6%. So now I'm looking at my number of payments, which is 12, and then I'm going to look at my 6%, which is $3.28. So that is what my V is going to be. So $3.28. And once again, I found that by using this number, so the number of monthly payments remaining, with the APR from the problem to our table, the APR table, which is this one over here. So I looked at my 12, went to the 6%, got my $3.28. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate my unearned interest. So my N is 12. My monthly payment, we just figured that out. My monthly payment was $56.51. So $56.51. My V was the $3.28. And that is going to be divided by 100 plus V, which is $3.28. So now I'm going to take that and plug it into my calculator. So 12 times 56.51 times $3.28 divided by 100 plus $3.28. And the unearned interest is $21.54. Now, what I would recommend doing so you don't make a mistake in the calculator is I would combine the numerator first. So the numerator was 224.2336, and I divided that by 103.28. And then that's where the 2154 came from. Okay, so that's the unearned interest. Payoff amount. So payoff amount also has a formula, which I'm going to write down in green. So payoff is going to equal M, so the monthly payments, times the number of monthly payments you have left plus 1, because it has to include the current month, minus the unearned interest. So going back to this problem, the monthly payment was the $56.51 times, there's 12 payments left, including the one that she still has to do, and then minus the unearned interest, $21.54, and that is going to be her payoff amount. So $56.51 times 13 minus $21.54. So that is $713.09. All right, let's do another one. So John is purchasing a boat for $25,000, including taxes. John decides to make a 20% down payment and finance the balance through his bank. The loan officer informs him that his monthly payment will be $410.33 for 60 months. So the cash price of this boat is the $25,000. The down payment that he made, it was a 20% down payment, so 0.20 times the 25,000 is going to give us our down payment, let me put it in my calculator, of $5,000. So the amount financed is going to be the cash price minus the down payment, so 25,000 minus 5,000 is going to be $20,000. Now the installment price, we're actually going to calculate based off of the fact that his monthly payment was $410.33 for 60 months. So I'm going to take the total amount that he would have to pay, so that's the $410.33 times the 60 months, plus his down payment. So the installment price is going to be everything that John is actually paying for. So I'm going to take my $410.33 times 60 months plus the down payment, and that gives us a grand total of $29,619.80. Now for the finance charges, I'm going to take the amount that he pays for his monthly payments. So that was going to be the $410.33 times 60. So that is 24, actually let me write it out. So $410.33 times 60 minus the amount financed, so $20,000. Which is $4,619.80. Now for the APR for this particular problem, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the finance charges, so the $4,619.80, I'm dividing it by the amount financed, so $20,000. And I'm going to take that and multiply it by 100. So I have 4,619.80 divided by 20,000, and that gives us 23 cents. Oh, I forgot to multiply it by 100. Okay, so that gives us $23.10. Okay, now keep in mind that $23.10 is going to be the finance charge for every $100 being financed. So what I want to do now is I'm going to look for 60 months on this table. So 60 months, that's this bottom row over here. And I want to find the one that's closest to 2310. Well, we do actually have one that's 2310. That is 8.5%. So that means my APR for this one is 8.5%. So 8.5%. Okay, so now I have all of these little individual pieces that we did actually find in the previous video for 11.4 part 1. But for part 2, what we're looking at is the scenario of John deciding to pay off his loan after a certain amount of time. So not for the entire 60 months, he wants to pay it off early. So now let's look at that. So instead of making his 42nd payment, he decides to repay his loan in full. How much unearned interest will he save? So the first thing I need to do is I need to figure out what N is. N is going to be the number of payments remaining. So I'm going to take 60 minus 42. So 60 minus 42 is 18. And I also need to find the value V. So V is going to come from the APR table of using 18 months with our APR of 8.5. So let me go back to this and keep going back. So I want 18 months with the APR of 8.5. So that's $6.86. $6.86. All right, $6.86. I had to say it several times so I would actually remember once I get back to this side. $6.86, because I didn't want to have to go back to my table. So $6.86. Okay, so now that I have that information, I can go ahead and solve for the unearned interest. That's going to be U. That is the number of monthly payments remaining times the monthly payment, which I'm going to go ahead and get from the other slide, which was $410.33. So $410.33 times V, which is the $6.86, all over 100 plus the $6.86. All right, so I'm going to put that into my calculator. So I have 18 times 410.33 times 686 gives me a very big number, 50,667.5484 divided by 106.86. So divided by 106.86 is $474.15. So that is how much John saves if he pays off the rest of his boat after his while he makes his 42nd payment. So what is his payoff amount? So the payoff amount is going to be the monthly payment, which was the $410.33 times N plus 1, so 18 plus 1, minus the interest that he is saving, so $474.15. And if you need the formula for the payoff amount, it is on this previous slide in green. So hopefully you wrote it down as you were watching this video. Okay, so let's calculate what that is. So 410.33 times 18 plus 1, also known as 19, minus 474.15. So his payoff amount is $7,322.12. All right, so that concludes our video over part 2, talking about unearned interest for 11.4. Again, the new piece for this particular lesson was calculating the unearned interest as well as the payoff amount.